Vinod Khosla was born in India and founded Sun Microsystems, which was a developer of Java and one of the largest tech companies in the 1990s. Khosla's net worth is $4.9 billion according to Forbes, the majority of which he made from his investments in companies like DoorDash, Stripe, and Square. He is one of the leading and most successful venture capitalists in Silicon Valley. In this video, we will tell you about his journey and tell how he became the top executive in Silicon Valley. We at Business Chronicles tell the stories of extraordinarily successful people. Please subscribe to our channel to help us in making more videos. Vinod Khosla was born on January 28, 1955 in Pune, India. His father served in the Indian military as an officer, and he wanted Khosla to join the military too. However, Khosla would pursue a career of his choosing in technology. As a child, Khosla went to Mount St. Mary's School. As a teenager, he developed an interest in technology. Every week, he would rent and thoroughly read old copies of Electronic Engineering Times, a startup publication. In one of the magazine's editions, he read the story of how a Hungarian immigrant named Andrew Grove founded Intel. This greatly inspired Khosla to become an entrepreneur and build impactful businesses. After high school, Khosla joined the Indian Institute of Technology in 1971 to study electrical engineering. At the university, he did plenty of programming and pioneered the school's first computer club. He even operated the school's computer center for a while. In 1975, Khosla tried his first venture selling soy milk to Indian customers who did not have refrigerators to keep cow milk fresh. However, the venture was not successful. Afterward, Khosla applied to join Carnegie Mellon University and received a full scholarship for his master's. He studied biomedical engineering at graduate school and then applied to Stanford Graduate School of Business for an MBA. Although he was initially rejected, he kept reaching out to the school's dean for 2 years until he was finally admitted. He graduated with an MBA in 1980. Fresh out of graduate school, Khosla designed a plan to start a business that made electronic design automation technologies for electrical engineers. He made contact with some employees of Intel and eventually became the founder and CFO of Daisy Systems. Daisy Systems made computer-aided design systems for engineers. Khosla ran the company for 2 years straight, enabling it to achieve significant revenue. However, Khosla was frustrated. His company Daisy Systems was a software company, but he had to spend most of its resources making the computer hardware products needed to run the software. This infuriated Khosla so much that in 1982 he left Daisy Systems to co-found Sun Microsystems, a company that manufactured computer hardware systems. Khosla co-founded Sun Microsystems with his Stanford classmates, Scott McNealy and Andy Bechtolsheim. The three founded the company on February 24, 1982 with Khosla as chairman and CEO. They then secured $300,000 in seed funding from Kleiner Perkins Caulfield & Byers, KPCB. Bill Joy, who studied computer science at UC Berkeley, joined the company later as its primary developer. The company's first product was the Sun One, a Unix workstation. The founders designed it around the Motorola 68000 processor while giving it an advanced memory management unit. Sun Microsystems initially sold these workstations to the universities they studied in, including Stanford and UC Berkeley. The company achieved profitability early. By 1983, Sun was producing 68K-based computer systems that could run 4.2 BSD. Khosla licensed the computer designs to other manufacturers. In 1983, Khosla led the company to sign a $40 million OEM agreement with Computer Vision, marking a huge breakthrough for Sun. That same year, the company began operations in Europe. A year later, Sun introduced the revolutionary NFS technology and licensed it free to the industry. This eventually became the standard for network file sharing. Khosla ran Sun for 2 years from 1982 to 1984, before leaving to become a venture capitalist. McNealy replaced him as CEO. Khosla retained his shares in the company, and when it went public in 1986, he became rich. In 1988, Sun reached $1 billion in revenue, at the time the fastest rate ever for a computer company with a direct sales force. Khosla joined KPCB in 1986 as a general partner. There, he cut his teeth in venture capital investing by making audacious bets on young companies that were going against industry monopolies. For example, he invested in NextGen, which was a new chip maker challenging the dominance of Intel. At the time, it was widely believed that Intel would sue any company that tried making chips with its technology. This kept many competitors at bay. NextGen designed chips with unique intellectual property and went after Intel's market share. Interestingly, this bet paid off when NextGen was purchased by Advanced Micro Devices, or AMD, for about 28% of AMD's market capitalization. Another example is Juniper Networks. Khosla invested $275,000 in the company and encouraged them to make an internet router, directly competing with Cisco systems. This turned out to be Khosla's most successful investment, multiplying his initial capital over 2,300 times. Khosla spent 18 years at KPCB. Other successful investments Khosla made while at the firm were Excite, which sold to At Home for $7 billion, Sierra, which was acquired for $3 billion, and Cerent Corporation, which was purchased by Cisco for $7.2 billion. He left the firm in 2004. In 2004, Khosla founded Khosla Ventures, his own venture capital firm based in Menlo Park, California. With $1.5 billion of his own capital to invest, he set out to find the next big companies in technology. Specifically, Khosla prioritized what he called black swan companies, which developed breakthrough technologies that had a high likelihood of failure, but if they turned out successful, would have phenomenal global impact. Initially, Khosla Ventures was known for making large, early-stage investments in alternative energy companies. While Khosla remains active in the space, he has since diversified his investment focus. He now has investments in sectors such as 3D printing, big data, health, financial services, artificial intelligence, robotics, space exploration, and education. Besides his investment focus, Khosla has also diversified his funding sources. In 2009, he opened up Khosla Ventures to outside investors, raising $750 million from them. And as of 2022, Khosla Ventures' portfolio includes over 100 companies. Some of the successful companies Khosla has invested in include Impossible Foods, DoorDash, and Instacart. Others that have become unicorns include QuantumScape, LanzaTech, Affirm, and Opendoor. According to Forbes, Khosla has a net worth of $4.9 billion as of December 2022. Khosla sits on the boards of various companies that he has invested in. However, he refers to himself as only an advisor to the founders, preferring not to oversee them but rather give them the freedom to pursue the opportunities they believe in. Outside of the startup world, Khosla sits on the board of Breakthrough Energy Ventures and is on the board of trustees of Carnegie Mellon University. He is a member of the Indus Entrepreneurs, a non-profit network of entrepreneurs which has a presence in 9 countries around the world. He is one of the founders of the Indian School of Business. Khosla believes in social entrepreneurship, and many of his companies are pioneering solutions for big societal challenges like climate change, access to quality education, and affordable cancer care. In 2006, Khosla supported the CK-12 Foundation, which open sources textbooks to lower barriers to education across the world. In 2008, he invested $600,000 into the Wikimedia Foundation. Khosla supports organizations that provide loans and support services to small businesses in developing countries. In 2021, he offered to meet the cost of oxygen imports for Indian hospitals struggling to get enough of them at the height of the country's COVID-19 pandemic. Khosla has signed the Giving Pledge, committing to give most of his wealth to charity over his lifetime. Vinod Khosla was born to a middle-class family in India, as other successful Indian immigrants. He first opted for higher education and joined Stanford. Once his MBA was done, he started his own venture, which made him the most powerful investor in Silicon Valley. Thank you for watching our video. Subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this.